We're back. Today we're going to watch this woke racist video that's been floating all around Twitter for the last few days. It's pretty funny. I just want to give my quick 2 cents about it. Yeah, let's get into it.
At first, Matt, I didn't think we'd get along, but turns out we kind of agree on everything. Your racial identity is the most important thing. Everything should be looked at through the lens of race.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. We both have a lot of opinions about people of color, even though we barely know any.
I say colored people, but as long as we're classifying them, we both think minority.
Okay, so those 2 statements in the beginning that they're making fun of, they're spot on. Right? They really are spot on. Both people who are too far left, the woke people and racist, they think your racial identity and seeing everything through the lens of race is of the utmost importance. It's the only thing that matters. They both definitely agree on that. And then it's funny how they just flip the words, colored people, people of color, and they're both like, ah. So I mean, it's funny. I mean, language matters in certain contexts. It kind of matters there, but again, you know, it's just a changing of times, because 40, 50 years ago to today, the language is different. So let's continue.
Minorities are a united group who think the same and act the same.
And vote the same. You don't want to lose your black card. Sorry, I don't know. I just think we should
Roll back discrimination laws so we can hire based on race again. Jinx, now you owe me a Coke. Hey, tell them what you told me yesterday.
White actors.
So that's pretty funny when they talk about voting, and far leftist woke people think that, you know, if you're black or if you're any person of color, that you have to vote a certain way. If you don't vote that certain way, you're not actually a minority or black or brown or whatever.
Only do voices for white cartoon characters.
I've been saying that for years. Stick to your own.
Us white people, we have so much privilege.
I agree. It is a privilege to be white. Ask him about interracial dating.
So he talks about doing voiceovers if you're white for black characters or vice versa. And again, this is kind of silly. I've never heard anyone make this comparison at all. If you are a person who thinks that a white person shouldn't voice over a black actor, or a black actor shouldn't voice over a Hispanic character, get a life. I mean, there's really nothing else I can say. It's acting. I don't know if you know this, but I don't think Seth MacFarlane actually is a football head baby. It's just, relax, guys.
All I said is that black men who date white women have internalized racism, and white men that date ethnic women are fetishizing them.
Guys against interracial dating now. Like, am I being pranked? Did Boomer put you up to this?
Ugh, you know that taco place is white owned?
I don't know. Again, this is another one. I'm sure there are. I mean, there are a lot of people out there with a lot of kooky opinions, and I'm sure there are some far wokeness left folk that really do have a problem in that weird way with white people dating ethnic or vice versa. I have not seen that in the slightest, but again, I'm sure it's out there somewhere.
White people should be making white foods like Kraft macaroni and cheese, no seasoning, not even salt. It's like he's a mind reader. I mean, I've been pushing for segregation forever, and my man does what?
I created an improv comedy show exclusively for ethnic people.
Guy segregates comedy on my birthday.
White people need to stop wearing dreadlocks, and they need to stop appropriating black people's music.
Shaved heads and country music, the way God intended.
You know, all white...
Okay, that really is the dumbest one. When people cry or gripe about cultural appropriation, it's just complete waste of breath. You are just wasting your air. You're wasting your time. Don't even engage with these people. It's so dumb. The idea of America literally is a blend of everyone's culture and everyone appropriating it. I mean, that is the idea of this country. Like flat out, like it's not so much to create a society of blended cultures. The American endeavor is actually the project of building the person who is a blend of different cultures, not just the society. That's why you have so many people that are, you know, half Hispanic, half white, black and white, Asian and black, Asian and white, German and Italian, French and English. I mean, like, it just, the list goes on. And then you have cities And you have, within that city, you have like Little Chinatown. You have like Little Italy. And you have all different types of ethnic festivals and foods and celebrations, and everyone celebrates together and people dress up together. So it is the dumbest. I can't stress enough, it is the dumbest. It might be the dumbest thing that people on the far left and woke people go on and on about.
White people are racist.
I'm listening.
Even if you have a black wife or a black friend group, you're still really racist.
You know, we just kicked a guy out of the organization for having a black girlfriend, but if you can promise me he's still really racist, we'll consider letting him back in. Black people should only shop.
So that's another good one. And this is another one that you hear people far left woke folk, they'll say like, oh, someone will say like, oh, I have a couple black friends, or this guy, he's my real good buddy, he's black, and they're like, oh, that's not a sign that you're not racist. I mean, it kind of is. I mean, if you are racist in the colloquial sense of the definition of the word that everyone uses, the majority of people use when they say the word racist, you'd think that one race is in some way lesser than another race for whatever reasons, or you have biases and you prejudge that race that makes them different from yours in some sort of negative way. But if you have black friends, or you are black and you have white friends, you wouldn't really be a great friend if that's what you thought. Like, if that, unless you were just faking it the whole way. And if you're faking it the whole way, then you're still not really a great friend. So it's one of those things that it's a circular argument. Like, oh, I'm not racist. I have plenty of black friends. Actually, that means you're racist. That's not an excuse against your racism. That's not any evidence. It's a circular argument. You can't get out of this loop. And that's what they, far woke people love to do.
About black businesses.
I guess the only thing we really disagree about is I think white people are the root of all evil.
But what did I tell you, though? If we can narrow that down to a certain group of tiny-hearted white people, I think we can come to an understanding.
Technically, I don't consider Jewish people white.
Neither do I.
So the end there, I've never heard anyone on the left, or even if you get really far left, I'm sure there's some people out there, but I've never heard anyone say anything about not spending money at a business that's like owned by, black people or Hispanics, or I've never heard anyone say that ever. Now I've heard some people say like, oh, to another black person, if that business is black owned, then you should support it, you should promote it, simply because it's black owned, which I think is beyond dumb. Okay, if the business isn't good and you don't believe in it, and you have no reason to support it, you shouldn't support it, regardless of who owns it. And then the last little tidbit they throw in there about Jews. This is one area where there really is a lot of overlap between like far woke leftists and racists. So, but I don't think, so it's weird. People on the left, they actually do think certain Jews are white. And then people on the right say that they're not white. So they got that one wrong. I'm sure there are some parts of the wokeness left that say that they're not white too, but the majority of people on the far left, like wokeness left, they say Jews are white and they perpetuate white supremacy, and they're the reason they have their fingers and their money everywhere, and they're perpetuating the white patriarchy. So that's a little off there what they said. Again, but their Jew hatred does overlap, and it's gross either way. But they hate them for the same reason that they hate them is the fact that they think like Jews are just like all-encompassing puppet master pulling all the strings around the globe, globalization. So they definitely have that in common. But overall, this video is actually pretty funny. It's definitely got some good jokes in it, some nice satire for sure. But what they're trying to do here is they're really trying to drill home just how awful, because everyone knows how awful racists are. right? We're not having that debate anymore in mainstream. We know they're terrible and they should be ostracized from society, and we need to try to change their opinions, and if they won't change, then we need to just basically forget about them, move on. But what this video is trying to do is show you that, look, people on the far left, the woke folk, they may not be as bad as the racists or the white supremacists that you're keen on knowing about, but they're not any good. And I think this video does a good job of showing that, without actually bleeding too much into the sane left, the normal left, the part of the left that I identify with, the part of the left that I want to further and push. It does a pretty good job of kind of skating that line between the woke crazies and the sane left that we really need to be pushing the country towards.